Hi, welcome to my Tronxy X3S. I just want to go through a couple of things that I've changed on here. One of them would be just down on the pulley belt section. I changed this bracket. This bracket was plastic before. I've changed that to metal. Okay, I made that myself by doing what's called loss casting. I won't go into those details, but the reason I changed that is because the plastic printed version had a weakness, and sometimes after so much stress it will flex up and down and it would snap. Haven't had the problem since then. This piece is still plastic, however. Okay, printed up a few little end caps there. Just got that off of Thingiverse. Pretty simple. Another modification is on the Z-axis, the bracket. Sorry, my camera's going out of focus here. I just replaced these. Probably be a bit clearer when I go across the other side. Okay, so I just replaced those, print them up. They were a better fit and they work better. Another little modification here is I have got this little device. This is an ID retractable device, and I use that for my cables. So as it's moving up and down, it keeps the cable up out the way when it's printing. Okay, another modification here. The top cover on there, the original black one on the casing, I replaced that with a see-through piece of Perspex. Just traced all the holes and the fittings off of the top. Use the drill piece to drill out the holes. So then I could see inside my case and what's happening. A couple of extra fans on there, 12 volt fans for extra cooling on the board. Okay, so the board is another modification that's been changed from the original board. And this one is a Maker Base MSK Gen L version 1. There we go. Okay, so I changed it from the original board. Now the only one problem I had with this, with the Z connector, there's only one connector on here. So I made a splitter for the connection. I made that myself, just following instructions off of YouTube that someone else made. So that was very useful information. If you're good at soldering and all that kind of stuff, you can too make one of these yourself, or you can have a look on eBay or somewhere else and you can buy a Z splitter. Okay, as you can probably see in here, I have them offset. The only reason I still have them offset on here is just to take the strain off the board, because as you could probably tell, I've got the original 12 volt power supply. Okay, this front area is modified. I've got the smaller rewrap display, and the rewrap display is mounted on a new fascia that I printed myself. Only one weakness, however, is the flexibility here. So I'm still working on I need to work on a better design, or if I share the file, I'm more than happy if someone else wants to have a go and share that. I'll probably do that through Thingiverse. So that's why I have the clip here. What happens with the clip is when I place the cover back on, get it right around first. Just bear with me a second. This is a one-handy job with the camera. So I raised up that little paper clip thing there, and that just gives me a bit of extra support. It just supports on the top there, so when I'm pressing, changing stuff, no real problems. Okay, you may ask yourself, why would I want to put the rewrap display on there, which is smaller than the original? Okay, for one simple reason is I had a spare display. Second reason is so this one had the SD card slot on the side, the original one doesn't. So when you remove the board from the original one, the SD card slot is normally here on the actual board. This just has the USB slot on there. Also, to make this fit, I just re-drilled the holes into the bottom piece of the enclosure. Okay, so now I can actually remove the card and place the card in. As you can see the gap there, there's a slight little gap, so you don't want to miss, otherwise you go straight into the inside and you have to fish it out and start again. Oops, there we go. So I can quite easily place that in now. Okay, on this particular setup I've got marlin 1.1.9. okay, so it all works good. In the menu, in prepare, one useful thing that I thought would be good to have on there, I can find it, level the corners. So if I go prepare, okay, level corners, I selected that in marlin. If anyone's not sure what that is, if I select level corners, when you're doing your bed leveling, it moves the head to the corner of the bed, and then when I press, whoops, excuse the video. Okay, there we go, better bit of video now. So corner leveling, and when I press the next on the display, it will go to the next corner. So that when you're doing your bed leveling, it just takes that little bit of hard work out, just trying to move the bed and position the hot end at the same time. And then of course you can get the gap right underneath. Okay, one other thing, just getting back to the main board inside, is the setup on the board supports the ramps 1.4 setup. I did have the cheaper board, the ramps 1.4 setup. That worked fine. One thing I didn't like, however, was if the printer halted or there was a problem, if I hit the reset, nothing really happened. It just came up with a halt display. But with the maker base, when I press the reset, you get a proper reset on the board. Okay, overall it's working good. I'm happy to share files. The marlin setup that I had pre-configured, I could share that if anyone's interested in that. And also happy to share the file for the front cover I made if anyone wants to do that mod. This one here, there's no files, I just did that with drill pieces and stuff. You don't have to change this, but adding the fans, in my opinion, was just an extra safeguard to keep things running cooler.